Hello Walkwatchers and welcome back to another one of our videos, this time Millstone Mountain in the Mourne Mountains. Now, there are a number of different routes up onto Millstone Mountain, but I thought I'd show you a little bit of the Granite Trail today. So first of all, you cross the road and you follow the signs for the Granite Trail. Now, the Granite Trail is really straight and steep because it follows the bogie line, which was a funicular railway of little four-wheeled buggies or bogies that carried quarried granite from Millstone all the way back down to the harbour. There's one of the little bogies there. So that it could be shipped out across the empire at the time. So you can see here just how straight it is and how steep it is. A lot of it is stepped like this, but quite a lot of it is just rough stone. There are a number of installations along the route. Now, some of the parts of the path are also paved like this and stepped up, and this brings you right up to the foot of the mountain. And the last little installation is a little wooden hut known as a shoddy hut, which would have been a shelter for some of the men who were working in the quarry, shaping and smoothing out some of the stones for cobbles and whatever. A shoddy, by the way, is the little broken off pieces of granite from the cobbles or whatever they were shaping. So here we are. The Granite Trail heads round to the right hand side of us now, through the gate and down to the right, heading over to the foot of Thomas's Mountain, down that direction there. So after that big steep start, then we turn right and walk under Thomas's Mountain there. So the gradient's a lot less, it's very gentle, but I'm heading the opposite direction along the wall. I'm heading up to that little clump of trees way up in the distance there, because I want to cross the end of Millstone and skirt round the bottom of it so that I come down to the Bloody Bridge Valley. There's some great views down over Newcastle from here. But as I sort of come round the end of Millstone, I get my first glimpse of the Bloody Bridge Valley. That's Sleeve Nagara there, which was my step up onto Chimney Rock in the last video. But I'm heading towards Drenever Quarry here, just following this little pathway, and here it is. Now let me be really honest, this is a really rough old trail because there's a lot of granite, broken granite and quarried granite just lying around, so it's tough underfoot, and it gets a bit hairy because Millstone is just a granite topped, exposed granite topped mountain, but some stunning views out over the sea. Newcastle over to our left there, and on along the next town round we can't see because it's shielded by the mountain. So here I am on the end of Millstone Mountain now, looking over the Bloody Bridge Valley. There's Sleeve Nagara, there is Chimney Rock, and you can see just how exposed all that rock is. Now, the reason I'm over this end of Millstone Mountain is because Gary from Ireland Outdoors put me on to the smugglers' caves story. Seemingly there are caves here that were used by the smugglers, bringing in all the contraband from the Isle of Man and from places like that, to bring it up the Brandy Pad to sell it on in Hilltown. So the idea was to go along and have a look and see if I could find the caves. So here I am, searching and searching and searching some more. I did search quite a lot, as you can see. But in the end, a little disappointed, I gave up and settled for a cup of coffee instead. So here I am on the side of Millstone Mountain. 460 metres is the summit, and it's up behind me. I've just stopped for a wee cup of coffee, as you saw, and I'm using one of these brew company sachets which my niece and nephew bought me for Christmas, and they're really good actually. This one's a Brazilian one, and it's quite strong, and I love a good strong coffee, but it's lovely ground coffee. And these sachets are reusable and they're recyclable too, which means you can put them into your recycling bin alongside your milk cartons, that sort of stuff. It's kind of that milk mixed plastic, and it makes a lovely brew. You see, it only takes a couple of minutes on the wee stove there. I've just spent ages, nearly an hour, dandering around here looking for the smugglers' caves on the side of Millstone Mountain, because Gary from Ireland Outdoors was very kind in sending me a whole load of pages of a book that he has, saying that there are caves around here. He messaged me after the Chimney Rock Mountain video and said, "Did you know that they're on the Millstone Mountain? You know, they're just across the way from you. You know, you should go and have a look." So here I am, Gary, having a look, and I can't find them. But in that book, it references a Professor Emer Evans, who came to have a look at them, and he said that they're one of the best examples of smugglers' caves. Now, they're not massive. Don't be thinking Marble Arch caves here. They're like 7 metres long and about 2.5 metres high. But he reckons that they were probably too damp for storage. You wouldn't want to store your tobacco or your brandy in there. They were too damp and too wet. And same for shelter. He doesn't think that people would have sheltered in there because they were too wet. But he reckons because it's pretty cut off from Newcastle over here and Annalong over here, you've got a good clear view out towards the Isle of Man. So he reckons that the caves probably were used for signalling. So people would have come up and lit a small fire in the sort of the entrance of the cave, and then it would have been easily put out if necessary, if the folk came to try and catch them. So we're right on the edge of the Bloody Bridge Valley as well, so you know it's perfect to sort of bring the stuff in and get it up onto the Brandy Pad and over to Hilltown for sale. It's been a cracker of a day. It's warm in the sheltered areas, but in the breeze it is really cold. It's about 10 degrees down in the valley, but up here it's getting down to about 4 or 3 degrees. You know, it's kind of that sort of just on the edge of the warmth of spring. So it's kind of a bit of a mix of a day. From here I'm going to get back up onto the trail and up onto the summit of Millstone, over the top, and drop down again towards the Granite Trail, which I showed you earlier on, which is another really interesting part of the history of the Mournes. If you're coming into the area, come and have a look at the Granite Trail. Come and have a look at the Brandy Pad and Bloody Bridge, and read up on the history of the smugglers that brought stuff up here, trying to escape the customs men. Anyway, here comes some statistics. Again, it's just what I was able to achieve on the day. It's a bit of a roundabout one because I did spend a lot of time sort of having a look for the caves. But however, if you've enjoyed the video, give us a wee like, give us a wee subscribe, and here come those statistics. So Millstone Mountain sits in the Mournes at 460 metres. I was walking for about 2 hours, and I was out in the mountains for about 3 hours and 40 minutes. 14,032 steps, or 7.3 kilometres, at an average pace of 3.4 kilometres per hour. It was cloudy, it was 10 degrees, 3 or 4 degrees up on the summit. I was by myself and I parked at any one Scout's array, in what 3 words, down at Newcastle Harbour. So, onto the home straight now, heading towards the summit of Millstone. There in the background, crossing on the right, Chimney Rock and Slieve Nagara. So I came around the bottom of Millstone and then up onto the ridge and then aiming towards the summit there. And what I'll do is I'll drop down over to the right hand side there, back towards the Granite Trail. You can see that it's still very rocky, even though there's lots of grass and heather around. It's still quite exposed. And there it is, Millstone Mountain at 460 metres in the Mourne Mountains. Right, let's have a look at the route then. So up the Granite Trail, up through the trees, turning left and then going around the end of Millstone Mountain overlooking Newcastle. Along the ridge and out over the end, having a good look around for the caves. Back up the ridge then onto the summit of the mountain itself overlooking Newcastle. Dropping down and then all the way back down the Granite Trail, back down to the van. This has been the Walkwatchers walk of Millstone Mountain in the Mournes, but why don't you get your boots on, go outside and go exploring. Now, just one more thing before I go. On my way home, I spotted this wildfire being dealt with by the Fire Service Northern Ireland. Unfortunately, there are way too many wildfires in our mountains every year. Please, please, please be careful when you're out. Even with a careless spark from your stove or a cigarette thrown from the car window can destroy hectares of wild habitat, which destroys homes for insects and caterpillars and ground nesting birds and mammals. This is given to us to enjoy. No one enjoys walking through black charred ground, and as the weather heats up, please look after our mountains when you're out.